Okay, so this is called a nutrition label, and it's found on most foods in the United States. And it's very important when you're grocery shopping to look at your nutrition labels because it's going to help you understand what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, and how much of it you're putting into your body. So this is the new nutrition label, and in 2020, every food company has to put this nutrition label on their foods because it's the most accurate. And they've made a few changes, so the serving sizes are larger and bolded, so they're easier to see. This specific food has 2/3 of a cup. I'm not sure what this food is. The serving sizes are also updated, so they're a little more accurate. For example, on a bowl of ice cream, there used to say something like maybe a half a cup of ice cream would be one serving. Now it'll say something more along the lines of a cup and a half is one serving because nobody eats just a half a cup of ice cream. So they're updating it to be a little more accurate to what people are actually eating. The calories is larger, so it's one of the first things that catches your eye. You can see exactly how many calories are per serving. So this is an example of 2/3 of a cup is one serving. So that's really not that much, but in that 2/3 of a cup, it has 230 calories. So you have a small amount of food, but a high proportion of calories. They've also updated the daily values. So this tells you how much percentage of food you should be eating a day on a 2,000 calorie diet. And this is 10% of that 2,000 calorie diet. So there's 8 grams of fat. There's no cholesterol. There's 160 milligrams of sodium. There's 37 grams of carbs, 4 grams of fiber. There's 12 grams of total sugars, but this includes 10 grams of added sugars. So that's a lot of sugar. So 20% of your daily intake of sugar is actually just in one serving. The new added sugars, usually it would tell you how many sugars were in the entire thing. Now it tells you how many have been added. So for example, if you got orange juice, for example, orange juice has natural sugars from the fruit, but they usually add sugars to make it sweeter. So this is going to tell you exactly how many extra sugars are being put in, and 10 grams is a lot. So that's a lot of extra added sugar. There's 3 grams in protein. So this meal or this serving, this food, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, has a high amount of sugar, a high amount of carbs, moderate fat, and very little protein. So this actually could be ice cream. I really don't know, but just from the carbs and the sugars and the fats, it very well could be. Who knows? It also has a change in nutrients that are required to be listed on there, and the actual amounts declared. So this also tells you, it used to just kind of say like what nutrients were found in it. Now it tells you exactly how much are in it. And then this footnote down at the bottom tells you how each of these numbers fit into your daily value. And it's going off of a 2,000 calorie diet, which is kind of a general diet for normal people. It's what they recommend you go off of. But for different people, it's going to change. So Michael Phelps eats 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day while he's training for the Olympics. But somebody that works a desk job and doesn't get a lot of exercise would probably want to eat a lot less. And so that changes for everybody, just depend on your activity levels, your metabolism, and who you are. But there's ways to figure out exactly how many calories you should be eating. So this is the new nutrition label. It's really important to look at these when you're picking out food because it's going to help you to understand how many servings you should be eating, how many calories come for each serving. So if I ate 2 servings of this, I would have to times this by 2. So I would be eating 460 calories, not 230 calories. And it's really important to remember that because it's easy to overeat if we're not paying attention. So pay attention to these nutrition labels, find out what they look like and get used to reading them so you understand what you're putting in your body. For example, 160 milligrams of sodium is actually kind of a lot, and sodium is in a lot of processed foods. Sodium is good for your body, it's good for your blood, but in high amounts it can dehydrate you, and it's very important that you make sure that you're not eating too much sodium that comes from a lot of processed foods, along with the sugars. Sugars are found in processed foods a lot as well. And so it's just important to keep an eye on those specific ones. It's also helpful to look at your fat because we have our good fats and we have our bad fats. A lot of processed foods are also full of bad fats. So that's why it's so important to look at all of these nutrition labels whenever you're going grocery shopping, especially as you become adults and start shopping for yourselves. Your bodies are going to start to change, and it's very important that you understand what you should be putting into your bodies, and this is what's going to help you do that.